Hi there, this is Shantan from Express Computer, the Indian Express Group, and today we are here in Mumbai as a part of the sixth edition of the Data Center and Infrastructure Summit. Like we all know, like how the data center industry has exponentially grown over the years, like, especially in the past few years. And today we are joined by Mr. Vivek Upman, the enterprise lead of South Asia of Seagate. Hi Vivek, how are you?
Good, happy to be here.
Thank you so much for your time. And do you want to talk about how Seagate played a role in this exponential journey of data center industry in India?
Not just India, I mean, globally there is a uptick in terms of the data storage that goes on, particularly with the advent of AI. And we see that in last 1 year, there has been a real interest across all enterprises, which directly relates to data centers devising certain kind of solutions which could optimize their um, power consumption mainly, and also how they can you know relate to giving more capacity to the customers, eventually reducing their TCO. Now, TCO was always a big issue for any customers, but eventually, unless until the data centers or the providers themselves do not reduce it, they cannot pass it to the customers or enterprises. So, we have been working at the very core level of a data center, going as below as the hard disk drive. So, if you see any storage deployment, it has 80% of hard disk drives, which basically powers everything. So it took us some 20 years to devise a technology called heat assisted magnetic recording, which is now in the market called as Mosaic, which redefines basically how the storage industry will transform itself in the next 5 years. So, what I'm talking about is we have worked to increase the areal density of a hard drive in a way that the same 3.5 form factor hard drive, which was earlier giving something like 16 TB or 20 TB, now we are able to give that of 30 TB, and we have a roadmap of 50 TB. So just imagine if you have an enclosure of 20 TB drives giving you something like 1 petabyte storage. With this newer technology, you are able to get in the same enclosure 3 petabyte of storage. So that reduces the power consumption almost by 30% or more, and also reduces the real estate rack level density. Now that over a TC, over life cycle of storage, let's say 5 years or 10 years, it is a huge savings. And we are not even saying that the performance goes down. We are also improving the performance overall for the stack. Now that when passed on to the customers or the providers is a big game changer. And that's what the industry has been looking that, the data is growing so humongously in zettabytes. How do we manage the cost? And that's where Mosaic technology comes from Seagate.
So definitely you mentioned about Mosaic, which is solving one of the problems that your customers are currently facing. But there are other challenges as well, apart from cost. Do you want to talk about that? What are the common challenges or the commonalities when you interact with your customers, the commonalities and the challenges they face?
Yeah, so same. I mean, power consumption is a major challenge, and then sustainability. These are the two issues which are always at the top of the mind of a CIO. That how do I reduce the cost of the power consumption? Because if the data keeps increasing, my power consumption keeps increasing, and if the newer technology comes, I have to probably compromise on the sustainability part as well. So it's a two-edged sword. And again, talking about Mosaic, which basically solves both the problems at the core by reducing your power consumption, and at the same time, the material that we use to manufacture these drives are made of renewable sources. So around 23% of the drive's cost is renewable, and also the logistics that is involved saves a lot of cost for the industry. So that's how we relate to in terms of how we make it more sustainable both at the power consumption and also the larger sustainability goals which the industry is looking towards.
So currently the data center capacity of India is about like 1.3 gigawatt, right? And it is, estimated to grow to 4.5 gigawatt, more than 4.5 gigawatt by 2030. So in this huge, opportunity, where do you want, like, how do you plan to capitalize on this particular opportunity? Any plans you have?
So we are already present. So again, Mosaic. So we have qualified this to at least what 27 OEMs and cloud service providers globally, and we have had really encouraging results for them that it solves a lot of problems for them. So when you talk about 1 gigawatt, okay, this is a huge kind of a data center which earlier was not there. You had some 40 megawatt or 80 megawatt, but now you see investments coming up Now, when you create such a big data center is what? You have network compute storage, right? And when everything expands, so storage expands in the maximalist way compared to compute or the network. So, again, with Mosaic at the core, it reduces your data center footprint and thus reduces your power consumption and real estate cost. So yes, so if without Mosaic, that could have been 40% higher, at least from the power consumption and the real estate part.
Thank you so much, Vivek. So this was Mr. Vivek Upman from Seagate joining us today at the Data Center Summit. Thank you so much.